Greetings, our dear friends. I've got a confession to make. We've cooked chicken, we've mastered lamb, but today we're stepping things up. Have you ever cooked something a bit bigger, a bit quicker, and dare I say, a little more exotic? Well, stick around, because today we're tackling something you probably don't see in your everyday kitchen. Ostrich. Yes, you heard that right. And believe me, this is going to be a real game changer. Before we start cooking this magnificent bird, we need to make sure the surface of its skin is smooth and clean. To do that, I'm using a blowtorch to remove any remaining feathers or impurities. Now that the skin is clear, let's give it a thorough wash, making sure it's completely clean from the outside and inside. What we won't be needing are its legs. They're a bit too tough and not really useful for what we have in mind. As I'm wrestling with this exotic bird, if you're appreciating my efforts, then don't forget to subscribe, like, and of course, hit that bell icon. Trust me, this is just the beginning. Ostrich meat is a bit tough, so to tenderize it, I'll boil it with lemons and herbs to enhance the flavor. Ostrich meat is incredibly lean, with very little fat compared to other poultry, so it's a perfect healthy option. And by the way, on our Instagram page, we regularly post updates on upcoming episodes and share shorts from various cooking adventures. Make sure you follow us there too. You won't regret it. This boiling water, seasoned with herbs and lemon juice, will really elevate the flavor of our ostrich. I'll also be adding some coriander for a fresh citrusy note that will enhance the overall taste. Let's send this bird into the boiling water. This fella is about to have a nice hot bath before the actual cooking begins. I'm really struggling to get it into the pot, as you can see. It's quite large. I've made a bit of a mess in the process, and well, the kitchen towels got caught up in the chaos too. Hopefully my wife won't be too upset. Luckily, she can clean them up in no time. She'll do it the old-fashioned way, using a washboard. It's amazing how quickly she manages to get everything spotless. Now that the towels are all clean, let's hang them to dry. You know, washing clothes this way is almost as satisfying as cooking out in nature. You get that crisp, fresh smell of clean laundry, and with the warm sunlight drying them, there's no need to iron afterward. They'll be pristine in no time. As for our ostrich, it's got quite a bit of cooking ahead. Like I mentioned earlier, boiling is just the beginning of our preparation. We've got something much bigger planned, because this isn't a meal we prepare every day. I've preheated the tandoor for a reason. Our ostrich is going to be cooked inside, stuffed with rice. Trust me, this is going to be a feast like no other. In between cooking, my wife and I always make time to keep our household organized and beautiful. Today, I'm helping her plant some flowers. Just look at those bright purple blooms. They're like a burst of color in the garden, bringing so much life to the space. Nothing beats that feeling of watching something grow that you've planted with your own hands, knowing it'll brighten the place for months to come. Meanwhile, my wife is busy feeding the livestock and poultry. It's important to keep them healthy and well fed, as they're not just a source of food, but also essential to maintaining a sustainable lifestyle out here. Whether it's the eggs from the chickens or the milk from the cows, keeping our animals in top shape ensures the best quality for everything we produce. Now for the next step in cooking. We'll need a marinade for our ostrich. This will give the meat that extra depth of flavor. We'll use a mix of salt, chili flakes, paprika, turmeric, some rosemary, soy sauce, and a bit of oil. The combination will not only season the meat, but also tenderize it, preparing it for its final transformation in the tandoor. Now that the ostrich has boiled long enough, it's time to move on to the next step. This is where things really start to get exciting. Now, my wife is going to brush thoroughly with the sauce she has just made. Let's get these beauties watered. It only took a few minutes to plant them, and now there's a view to behold for a long time. With the right care, they'll flourish into something truly magnificent. You've seen the garden with vegetables, herbs, and fruit trees, but I'll bet you didn't expect to find a garden on top of the roof, did you? It's not just a quirky feature either. Rooftop gardens are fantastic for temperature regulation and making use of space that would otherwise go unused. And of course, having fresh greens just a few steps away is always a bonus. I need to grab some greens now for the horses. They're going to love this. These greens are perfect for feeding the horses. It's important to keep their diet varied and fresh. Horses like us benefit from good, fresh food. It keeps them healthy with shiny coats and plenty of energy. Keeping them well fed also helps maintain their digestive system and overall vitality. Oh, and make sure you've scanned the QR code and found us on Instagram. You'll love the regular updates on upcoming episodes, each one crafted to bring a sense of homely peace and comfort into your life. Whether it's a simple meal or something grand like today's feast, there's always something heartwarming to look forward to. Next, it's important to brush the marinade inside the ostrich as well, ensuring every part of the bird is packed with flavor. Seasoning isn't just about the outside. Getting those flavors inside makes all the difference. A well-marinated ostrich will have bursts of flavor in every bite. But the ostrich isn't going into the tandoor alone. Oh no, today it'll have some small companions. 2 chickens. They're going to join the party and make this feast even more exciting. The chickens get the same marinade treatment as the ostrich. They might be smaller, but they deserve just as much flavor. Every bite is going to be bursting with those rich spices. Now, let's move on to the rice. It's essential to wash the rice thoroughly to remove any excess starch. No one wants sticky or clumpy rice. It needs to be light, fluffy, and full of flavor. Once the rice is ready, it's time to cook it before stuffing the ostrich. This step builds layers of flavor, and nothing is rushed here. Every ingredient gets the attention it deserves. A quick chop of fresh dill will be added to the rice once it's cooked. The bright, fresh flavor of dill will balance the richness of the butter and the sweetness of the dried cranberries. The rice is probably ready now, so it's time to drain it and add butter, dill, and those dried cranberries. This rice is becoming a star of its own, full of rich, complex flavors that complement the rest of the dish beautifully. Now for the fun part, stuffing the ostrich. The rice, along with the marinated chickens, all go inside. It's a feast within a feast. The chickens get cozy inside the ostrich, and soon enough, everything will be slow cooked in the tandoor. The smell alone will be enough to bring everyone to the table. This is going to be something special. Now, this ostrich needs to be wrapped up nice and tightly in the wrapping paper and aluminum foil. This wrapping will ensure it stays moist and tender as it cooks, sealing in all those flavors we worked so hard to infuse. Before placing the ostrich in the tandoor, a bucket of water goes underneath it. This helps to create steam as the bird cooks, keeping it moist and preventing the meat from drying out. Once the water is in, the ostrich goes on top. All right, we're done here. Let's seal the tandoor and get this show on the road. No day is complete without a cup of freshly brewed tea. You might have noticed that we always add something extra to our tea, whether it's flowers or berries. It just enriches the flavor. Today we're brewing some bluebell tea. Bluebells add a delicate floral note to the tea, which is soothing and light, perfect after a big meal. Picture this: a tea table set with steaming cups of bluebell tea, jars of fig jam, slices of lemon, and a spread of treats. It's the kind of peaceful moment you want after a day full of cooking and laughter, where everyone can sit back, sip tea, and unwind.
Shanti. Wah wah wah wah.
Let's whip up a quick salad. A simple mix of cabbage, cucumbers, and greens, all bound together with some sour cream. It's light, refreshing, and a great way to balance the richness of the ostrich. The cabbage is chopped. Now it's time to cut the other ingredients. Crisp cucumbers, fresh herbs, it's all coming together. The greens will really elevate this salad, adding freshness and a burst of color. And of course, a good dollop of sour cream will bring everything together with that perfect creamy texture. All right, time to pull out our ostrich.
Abi, şemsini kapsın. Lazım affacına.
It's been slow cooking for hours, and the smell is incredible.
Yavaş yavaş yavaş.
Let's take a look. Oh, look at this golden brown sheen. It's skin crisp and lightly caramelized from the heat, and the rice stuffed inside has soaked up the savory juices. Can we take a break? I need to catch my breath. Now, let's taste this meat. The ostrich is perfectly tender, pulling apart effortlessly with each bite. The flavors of the marinade have seeped into every part of it, and the meat is rich, juicy, and surprisingly light. It's unlike anything you've ever tasted before, like a cross between beef and poultry, but leaner and more delicate. Time to serve the rice and ostrich together. The rice is soft, buttery, and fragrant with dill and dried cranberries. It's absorbed all those rich flavors from the meat, making every spoonful taste heavenly. The ostrich is golden and succulent, the skin slightly crisp, with that wonderful filling of rice inside. Of course, the dogs won't be left out. They're getting a few bones to gnaw on as a reward for being patient. And here we are, sitting down to enjoy the fruits of our labor. There's nothing quite like sharing a meal like this after a long day of cooking together. Thank you all for joining us today. It's always a pleasure having you with us in the kitchen. If you enjoyed today's adventure, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. It's been a day full of good food, laughter, and memories, and we can't wait to share more with you next time. Welcome back, our cherished villagers and culinary aficionados. Today, we dive into an art form that tantalizes more than just the eyes. Forget still life exhibits. This is a feast for your senses. Grab a cozy seat, because I guarantee you won't be able to tear yourself away from the screen. Pomegranates are remarkably versatile, offering countless culinary opportunities, if you're patient enough to unlock their secrets. For many, though, de-seeding them is such a hassle. It's like battling a stubborn puzzle. It can really drive you up the wall or test your patience to the limit. But don't worry, today I'll show you a step-by-step guide to make this process a breeze. If you enjoy tips like these, make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and click the bell icon so you never miss another helpful trick. This rectangular metal contraption is a larger prototype of a pomegranate de-seeder. By placing each pomegranate into these slots, the fruit stays firmly in place. Then we simply tap the flat side of the pomegranate to loosen the seeds. Easy and efficient.
Im Azerbaijani ama gibi.
Finally, with the first step done, let me show you my cutting technique. It's a creative, time-saving approach that makes de-seeding so much faster. Instead of struggling one by one, we're embracing Pareto's Law, 20% smart effort for 80% of the results. Here's the plan for these pomegranates. Some will be used for classic juice making, while the rest will become a traditional coating, tatara. If you've seen churchkela, those beautiful threads of nuts coated in a glossy, chewy layer, you know what I'm talking about. Juice extraction is both an art and a delicate process. Pressing too hard can release bitterness from the white pith, so the seeds need gentle handling. If you don't have a fancy press at home, even a mortar and pestle will do the trick. Traditional rural households use tools like basket presses, where a heavy wooden or stone plate, attached to a screw mechanism, applied slow, steady pressure. This gentle method coaxes out the juice without any bitter notes.
Ne olsun? O canım. Ne ceza o?
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Just scan the QR code to discover behind-the-scenes moments and more culinary adventures.
这个
To sterilize the jars, my wife has placed them in boiling water, a crucial step to eliminate bacteria and yeast. Plus, this preps the jars for the high temperatures and pressure during preservation. For the remaining pomegranates, we're using a manual citrus press. It's a simple, compact tool that's perfect for making fresh juice at home without taking up too much space in your kitchen. As the juice trickles slowly from the basket press, it glows like molten rubies, pooling into the vessel below, a mesmerizing sight of pure richness and vitality.
دائم قداني.
Here comes the satisfying part, squeezing out those last drops of juice. It's like collecting every bit of sunshine from the fruit. After using these tools, it's essential to clean them thoroughly to remove any residual seeds or pulp. A clean press ensures better results next time.
وشنا بهنا يبيرزا بخصين دا
From my wife's point of view, filling jars is not just a task, it's preserving the essence of pomegranate. Did you know pomegranate juice is a powerhouse of antioxidants? These vibrant compounds not only give it that ruby red color, but also help protect your body from harmful effects and even lower blood pressure. That's the beauty of these culinary traditions. You learn health benefits alongside techniques. As the jars boil, we ensure they're safely sealed for long-term use. This step locks in the freshness and flavor, making every sip of juice feel like a celebration. Now, cracking walnuts for churchkela is more than preparation. It's a cultural connection. Georgian traditions gave birth to this treat, blending the richness of walnuts with the resourcefulness of turning grape juice into a chewy, sweet coating. It's the perfect example of culinary creativity born from necessity. Tatara, the grape juice coating, combines flour, sugar, and sometimes spices to create a luscious, sticky base. Originally crafted in Georgian villages, it has variations across regions, from honey-infused to spiced versions. For instance, some communities incorporate honey for added sweetness, while others prefer a hint of tanginess by using unripe grape juice known as kamali. It's a testament to how every community adds its unique touch. Pelamushi, the base for tatara, must be cooked just long enough, usually 10 to 15 minutes, to achieve the ideal consistency. Stirring constantly prevents lumps and ensures a smooth, glossy texture perfect for coating the walnuts. Stringing walnuts for churchkela is a meditative process. The key is to tie them tightly together, avoiding gaps to ensure even coating. To achieve this, you need to select a sturdy thread and thread the walnuts carefully, pulling them close to one another with gentle but firm pressure. If done correctly, the walnuts will hold their position, creating a solid and uniform necklace that will stay intact during the dipping process. In the mountainous regions of Georgia, where walnuts and grapes were abundant, locals discovered that stringing walnuts and coating them in grape juice would not only create a portable, energy-dense snack, but also ensure the ingredient's longevity.
Hemen. Ama ya.
Dipping walnut necklaces into the tatara is pure craftsmanship. Each strand emerges glistening, fully coated in the sweet, tangy layer. If you are thinking about making churchkela at home, make sure you have top-quality ingredients.
Hazır ya.
After boiling, the jars are carefully set aside to cool. Spending a whole day with pomegranates reminds me of classic The Color of Pomegranates. This film's vibrant imagery captures the soul of pomegranates, their deep symbolism, and cultural significance, a visual and emotional masterpiece. To honor the pomegranate's beauty, my wife is crafting traditional Azerbaijani jorab, intricately knitted socks with vibrant patterns. This centuries-old tradition reflects warmth, both literally and figuratively during the colder months.
Böyle şey.
If you enjoyed today's deep dive into pomegranate traditions, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Stay connected for more adventures. It's just one click away. Finally, it's time to taste the churchkela. Its texture is satisfyingly chewy, with the natural sweetness of the coating complementing the earthy crunch of walnuts. It's unlike any other dessert, rich yet balanced, indulgent but wholesome. Thank you for joining me on this vibrant journey. Whether it's pomegranates, walnuts, or the stories behind them, moments like these are meant to be shared. Until next time, my friends in Faraway Village. Hello, hello, dear friends, food lovers, and those who enjoy the peaceful rhythms of village life. We've just started the day, and the first task is feeding all our little friends who are eagerly waiting for us. This is how mornings go in a village family. One of us is busy milking by hand, while the other makes sure the poultry and livestock get their breakfast. After feeding everyone, we're ready to enjoy a fresh start ourselves, with homemade bread baked by my wife and a delicious cheese spread. Just imagine the smell of that freshly baked bread filling the morning air, waking you up from the quiet stillness of the early day.
Güzel. Baksana.
While my wife makes the final preparations, I'll help by preheating the oven. For those of you who have experience with homemade bread, you know the importance of getting the temperature just right. When the bread dough goes into a hot oven, the heat causes a quick rise. This is known as oven spring, where the dough expands by up to 30% of its original size. This rapid rise gives the bread its light, airy texture. If the oven isn't preheated enough, it can result in a denser loaf, which is very disappointing. So be sure to preheat your oven properly. My wife has already made the dough ahead of time, so we don't have to wait for it to rise. Look at this fluffy dough. It's breathing out the yeast. You can see how soft and elastic it is, which makes shaping it a breeze. The softer the dough, the fluffier the bread will be. If you want to make a softer dough, just add a bit more water or liquid ingredients like oil or milk. Now we'll let the dough rest and rise just a little bit more. This milk, which is boiling right now, will be used later for that cheesy spread I mentioned earlier. Let it cool down properly. Meanwhile, make sure you subscribe to our channel to enjoy peaceful and calming nature in an Azerbaijani village with our family. Like and hit the bell icon. Instead of the classic loaf shape, we've decided to make a ring-shaped bread, kind of like a bagel, but much bigger. For many Azerbaijani or Turkish people, this shape will remind them of simit, a popular street food bread known for its sesame-covered crusts with a soft, fluffy interior. It's a kind of bread that's often enjoyed with a cup of tea or as a quick breakfast snack. While the dough is resting and rising, we'll start preparing the base for our cheesy bread. We'll need a small amount of yogurt as a starter culture. Alternatively, you could buy a starter in the store, but my wife prefers to use the yogurt she made herself. Now, let's cover it with a duvet to speed up the fermentation process. Now, we're ready to move on to the next step with our bread. Let's start shaping it into rings. For that beautiful orange glow, we'll mix some eggs. Organic eggs are particularly known for that vibrant, bright orange color. Let's cover the dough completely in egg. This step gives the bread that bright yellow color and a wonderful golden finish once baked. Now, we'll add some white sesame seeds. I love sesame seeds on bread because they add a delightful crunch and a mild, nutty, slightly sweet flavor. When roasted, that flavor deepens and becomes richer, making the bread even more delicious. The key moment has come: baking. Let's place the bread inside the oven. We will bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes, or until the crust is golden brown and the bread has a lovely hollow sound when tapped. Okie dokie, the lovely crunchy sesame bread rings are ready to show up its golden flow and dizzy you with the smell. For one to resist tearing a small piece of this bread is very challenging, and I am right now that person, but I will wait for breakfast time to enjoy it with creamy, cheesy spread.
Ama değil içine da.
The first batch of these beauties is ready. Now, let's send in the next batch. The yogurt is ready, and we can see that thick layer of fat has accumulated during the fermentation process. This happens because as the yogurt ferments, the fat separates and rises to the top. Beneath this thick layer of curd, we have that fresh, rich, and creamy yogurt, just waiting to be used. We'll be using a clay jar to make our cheese spread. This traditional vessel helps in the fermentation process because clay is porous and allows for airflow, which is crucial for achieving the right consistency. We fill it with yogurt and a little water, then cover the opening with a cloth. My wife inserts a tube into the small hole in the clay jar and then begins shaking the jar gently. Why shake it? Well, shaking helps promote the separation of the curds from the whey. The gentle motion keeps the curds from settling too heavily in one place, ensuring an even separation. This process helps strain out the whey and leaves us with the rich curds we need for our cheese spread. While my wife shakes the jar rhythmically, I'll put myself to use and brew some fresh tea for breakfast. It's interesting that in these moments, when we truly connect with our traditions, especially now as my wife shakes the jar, I can feel the heartbeat of nature in the silence. It's a rhythm that goes beyond the jar. It's the rhythm of life itself. She's checking the texture of the curds. She wants to make sure they've reached the right consistency, firm but still smooth. If the curds are too soft or runny, they won't make a good cheese spread. So this step is important. Poor Scarecrow. It looks like it's probably the end for him, as the cow won't leave it alone because of the hay inside. If you're lacking similar fun and village charm in your life, you know where to find it. Just subscribe to the channel. Let's see what we have here. Look at that! The curds have separated beautifully. Now my wife carefully strains the curds into the bowl, pressing lightly to separate any remaining whey. This is where the magic happens, and we're almost ready to enjoy the cheese spread. Finally, let's set the table for breakfast. I can already taste this wholesome meal in my mind. If you've enjoyed this heartwarming breakfast routine, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and we'll be sure to bring you more content like this. The cheese spread is so soft. I haven't tasted it yet, but I can already smell the fresh milkiness in the air. We also have some goat cheese on the table for variety. A spoon spoon of sugar, and the breakfast tea is ready to go. All right, let's have a taste. Some cheese spread with a drizzle of honey on top. A fulfilling and yummy breakfast indeed. Well, dear friends, we're wrapping up and getting ready to move on with this beautiful day. We hope you've enjoyed this video and that you're inspired to make your own homemade bread. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Until next time, take care and happy baking. Welcome to our village, dear friends, where the rhythm of life follows nature's heartbeat in our endeavor to embrace traditions and ancient craftsmanship. In today's episode, you will witness once again the rebirth of an indigenous way of storing food, passed down through generations. Let's journey together into the heart of these timeless practices. Before we embark on this journey, make sure you've subscribed to Faraway Village and liked this video. My wife and I have put so much effort into reviving this ancient craftsmanship, and we'd love for you to join us every step of the way. Pottery is one of humanity's oldest handicrafts. In prehistoric times, civilizations mastered the art of pottery to store food, grains, and water, and to create essential kitchenware. It's truly fascinating when you stop to think. How did our ancestors, without the tools we have today, create such functional and beautiful objects? This humble invention marked a pivotal shift in human civilization, providing security against scarcity and ensuring food preservation. Isn't it amazing how something so simple can change the course of history? What would I do without this fella? A man like me feels almost immobilized without a horse. It helps me climb the bumpy hills, and let me tell you, it's much easier than walking for miles on those steep paths. Now, we finally reached the place where I'll collect the clay. Clay forms naturally over thousands of years, especially in areas where water has broken down rocks and minerals. In Azerbaijan, we often find clay-rich deposits along riverbanks, valleys, and lowlands. Not all soil is suitable for pottery, though. The ideal clay is sticky, fine-grained, and malleable, making it perfect for shaping durable objects. I think I've gathered enough clay. Let's get moving. If you're looking for meaningful and enjoyable content on your Instagram feed, you know where to go. Follow Faraway Village and stay connected with us for more.
Bir hazır olman lazım ya.
Now we're going to prepare the clay. I'm adding some chopped hay, which binds the soil particles together. This addition prevents cracking during the drying and firing stages, ensuring that our pottery maintains its strength. When hay is mixed with clay, it gives the resilience needed for the next steps. One of the key benefits of adding hay is that it helps prevent shrinkage during the drying process. This ensures that the shape of the container remains intact. Now, we'll add some water and mix it thoroughly until the mixture is just right. Next, I'm going to pour this clay mixture onto a plastic bag, pressing it with the stove to blend it thoroughly. Once it's all mixed, I'll cover it back up with the plastic, then place a heavy log on top to let it rest for 3 days. This step allows the clay to firm up, so we can start shaping it into our pottery. Pottery in Azerbaijan dates back to the Bronze Age, with discoveries made in places like Ganja and Gabala. Azerbaijani pottery is known for its geometric patterns, inspired by nature, animals, plants, and its iconic blue glaze, which has become a hallmark of our ceramics. I've waited a few days, and now it's time to check the clay. I'll carefully open the plastic cover and feel the texture with my hands. It's just the right consistency. So now I'm going to place the clay into the iron basin, ready for the shaping process. By the way, if you're enjoying today's journey so far, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Give this video a like. Now comes the fun part. I'll be shaping our containers using the old method, a process that's been passed down through generations. To form the base, I'll press a small water-soaked bowl into the clay, wrapping it in a plastic bag so it doesn't stick. With a little pressure, I'll shape the container's bottom, forming the perfect base for our pottery.
Białad gościa ze sobie dredowa mihi.
This is how we are going to make our clay storages.
Feel good.
While I'm here crafting these clay storages with care, my wife is preparing something equally special, a golden crabapple jam. Trust me, later we'll savor it with freshly brewed Azerbaijani tea. They say teamwork makes the dream work, but in our case, it makes the tea time perfect. Now comes an important step, firing the clay storages. Once shaped, these pots go into the oven where they face intense heat. This process hardens the clay, transforming it into durable, solid containers. It's as if we're baking the earth itself into something timeless. Firing takes patience, precision, and a keen eye to ensure the clay doesn't crack under the heat. While she washes the crab apples, let's talk about why this fruit is perfect for jam. In Azerbaijan, crab apples symbolize simplicity and resourcefulness. Families have been turning these little golden orbs into delicious jams for centuries, pairing them with tea for a taste of tradition in every spoonful. As she pokes the apples with a fork, she's helping them absorb the sweet syrup better, an essential step for jam making. Speaking of essentials, let me remind you to check out our online shop. Scan the QR code for an array of high-quality knives that make cooking tasks like this easier and more enjoyable. You'll thank me when your kitchen feels like a pro's workspace. Making fruit jam is an art passed down through generations. First, you prepare the fruit by washing and poking it to help absorb the syrup. Then you boil the fruit in sugar water until it softens and caramelizes into a sticky, delicious glaze. Simple steps, but the result is unforgettable. My wife has boiled the crab apples to soften them. Now she's adding sugar to the water, letting it caramelize into a golden syrup. Once it's ready, the apples go back into this sugary, sticky water to soak up all that sweet goodness. The clay containers are baked to perfection. They need to spend several hours in the oven to ensure their strength and durability. Once out, they must cool down completely in a shaded area. This cooling period is crucial. It lets the clay settle, ensuring the containers are ready to serve their purpose for years to come. As the pottery is complete, we place them in the open air, a time-honored tradition. Historically, this step was done to let the fresh containers absorb the natural environment. In Azerbaijan, pottery has always been more than just functional. It represents a connection to the land and its rich history.
like it.
The jam is ready, and soon we'll pair it with hot Azerbaijani tea. The golden, sticky sweetness of the jam contrasts beautifully with the robust, aromatic tea. It's a moment to savor and a reminder of how simple ingredients can create unforgettable flavors. Besides the apple jam, we're preparing for a delightful tea with fresh apples and peaches. The fruits bring a natural sweetness, complementing the warmth of the tea and the jam's rich flavors. It's a table set for relaxation, tradition, and connection. Get yourself a cup of tea and join us.
Meyveli çağırdım.
Bana meyveli hanım.
Kalpakçıydı.
Yarsi.
The jam is poured into jars, sealing in all the fruity goodness. These jars are not just for storage, they preserve the essence of the season, ensuring that even in the coldest months, we can taste summer's bounty. Properly sealed, these jams stay fresh for months, ready to brighten up any meal.
Çaydıran dayağına meyve.
As the day winds down, we enjoy tea together, sipping on its warmth and pairing it with the sweet jam. These moments are the heart of village life, simple, meaningful, and shared with loved ones. There's something magical about the blend of tradition and togetherness.
Gece olsun alkışa girdi.
Bir şey dayağı. İmsakal. İmparıcısı.
Kalacak mı? Lazım saydı mı? Bu halka. Ne var zeyim ne var?
Now, we collect fruits to store them in the clay containers. Blue plums with their deep color and sweet tart flavor are a favorite. Picking them fresh from the trees, we ensure they are at their peak, ready to be preserved naturally for the months ahead. In ancient times, storing fruits in clay containers was a brilliant solution for long-term preservation. The porous nature of clay allowed for ventilation, keeping fruits fresh and preventing spoilage. It's a method as ingenious as it is timeless. We've started storing the fruits in these clay containers using an old sealing technique. 2 containers are placed on top of each other, their edges sealed with clay to create an airtight bond. This simple but effective method keeps fruits fresh for months. The clay regulates humidity, preventing mold and spoilage. It's fascinating how such age-old practices can still be so effective today.
Çıkan cennet olması ülkemiz.
After 2 months of storing fruits in these clay containers, it's time to unveil the results. Let's open them and see how well they've preserved.
in spitz. That's nicht can. Watch.
This is incredible. Look at these fruits. Grapes, apples, plums, all unspoiled and fresh as if they were just picked. It's a testament to the intelligence of our ancestors and their sustainable practices. These clay containers are not just tools, they're treasures of wisdom passed down through generations.
Sadece Lotus Spitarı var hamancıktan.
Şirin.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through tradition and craftsmanship. From clay containers to golden jam, every step has been a tribute to the ingenuity of our ancestors. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon to stay updated. Your support helps us keep these traditions alive. See you in the next episode. Hello everyone. Welcome to this gorgeous slice of Azerbaijan, where the hills roll on endlessly and the air is as fresh as it gets. We're thrilled to have you here today. My wife and I have something special planned, lamb cooked in the underground oven. But first, there's some prep work to do. Right now, she's getting the lamb ready, trimming off just the right amount of the fat tail. This rich, flavorful part will melt down beautifully, adding that extra depth to our dish. Today, we're diving into a special cooking technique, and it's going to be something to remember. I'm setting up our underground oven with my own two hands, while my wife makes sure this lamb is seasoned to perfection. There's nothing like cooking this way. Earthy, traditional, and absolutely mouth-watering. While we're hard at work here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and ring the bell to stay connected. You don't want to miss out on any of these cooking adventures. While my wife is putting some love into seasoning the lamb, I've just finished digging the pit. I've lined it with bricks, building a sturdy wall inside to retain the heat. This is all part of creating our underground oven, an ancient method that gives the meat that incredible smoky flavor. She's adding a bit of salt and brushing paprika and pepper across the lamb. This technique is rooted in Azerbaijani tradition, where lamb is at the heart of so many dishes. We've got dishes like pidi, kebabs, and kufta, each with its own unique flavor profile. Cooking lamb this way underground brings a special touch. It's a bit of our heritage coming to life with every bite. To get that perfect flavor, we Azerbaijani people will go to any lengths. I'm proof of that down here in the pit. Hopefully I'll make it out of here when this is all done. The pit needs to be this deep to allow for even heat. I'm even using cement to make sure the bricks stay tight and steady. It's got to hold up for the full cooking time. For the perfect side to our lamb, we'll cook vegetables right beneath it, infusing all those rich, meaty juices. My wife's going to add eggplants, which will soak up that flavor so well. I can already tell they're going to turn out amazing, soft, smoky, and packed with taste. The pit's just about ready. It's coming together nicely, and it's strong enough to keep the heat trapped inside so that the lamb and veggies cook evenly. This setup will work much like a tandoor, trapping heat and cooking the meat all around. But unlike a traditional tandoor, this underground method gives a different depth of flavor. It's not just cooking, it's slow roasting over hours, with the heat and earth adding their own touch. Now it's time to build up some heat. I'm adding wood to the pit, getting ready to light it up. This is where the magic starts. Once that fire catches, it'll build a steady heat that surrounds the lamb from all sides. You can almost picture that smoky flavor seeping right in. It's going to add layers of earthiness and warmth that you just can't get from a regular oven. The lamb's almost ready to go in, but first we need to secure it. We're tying its legs with metal wire to keep everything nice and snug. This will help it stay in place as it cooks, allowing the heat to reach every part evenly. It's all about making sure that every bit of this lamb comes out tender and full of flavor. We're also adding some potatoes to the mix. These are going to sit right under the lamb, soaking in all those savory juices as they cook. I can already imagine how soft and flavorful they'll get. A perfect hearty side for this dish. Alright friends, we're ready for the main part, the cooking. I'm genuinely curious to see how this underground oven will perform. This kind of cooking brings a thrill. It's almost like a culinary experiment every time. To make sure everything cooks evenly, I'm placing a metal bar as a base above the firewood. This will prevent the pot from sitting directly on the flames and will distribute the heat more gently across the lamb and veggies. Now, let's get this lamb into the oven. We've got a metal stick adjusted just right so we can hang the lamb and layer the veggies beneath it. It's about letting those flavors meld together while keeping things steady and secure inside our setup. This setup really takes me back. It's like stepping into those old days when people would cook their fresh game right over an open fire or in the earth itself. There's something so pure and primal about it. Now that the lamb and veggies are in, let's seal it up with the lid and lock in that flavor and heat. We've earned a little break, and there's no better way than with a cup of tea. In Azerbaijan, tea time is a tradition that's not just about the drink, but about slowing down and appreciating the moment. Freshly brewed tea has a unique aroma that fills the air and warms you up, preparing us for the feast ahead. My wife's making tea with some wildflowers and herbs she gathered nearby. This kind of tea has a light, natural flavor that's so refreshing. It brings out the simple, pure tastes of nature, a perfect pause while the lamb cooks below.
Sanki o kadar. Çiçek arihanatını ürokot.
And we add a slice of lemon for a little tang that complements the tea beautifully.
Limon kırarızdan kilesi.
Hiç kurmaya laptın diye.
Dokunan.
Bir ayarım.
As we sip, we've also got some dates to enjoy. They're so soft and sweet, a classic pairing with tea and a lovely way to recharge. Let's check on the lamb. I lift it up and just look at that golden roasted surface. It's perfectly browned with a crispy edge that tells you it's ready. And down below, the veggies are looking amazing too, tender with just a hint of smokiness from the fire.
Levadıysa. Aha, in binnen. Sestig, ja. Dan in de
My wife's plating up the vegetables now. Eggplants, tomatoes, and potatoes. They're all baked to perfection, with a charred edge that adds depth to their flavor. Each piece looks rich and hearty, just waiting to be enjoyed. Finally, we sit down together and start our feast. There's nothing like sharing a meal like this, tearing into lavash, savoring the tender lamb, and enjoying those smoky, earthy veggies. Cooking like this brings out the best of each ingredient, and sharing it together makes it even more special. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Cooking together is something that connects us, and having you here makes it all the better. And please, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Until next time, friends, here's to many more feasts and shared traditions.